Barker District Council meeting, 20th of January. I welcome those present in the gallery and joining us for the first lot, joining us online for this council meeting. Please stand for an expression of faith. We're honoured to have been elected to serve our community. We pray for a community that is smart, culturally rich, prosperous, safe, connected and sustainable. We seek guidance to be an inclusive council, welcoming new ideas, engaging widely and deciding appropriately for our communities, both now and for the future. Acknowledgement of land. The Mount Barker District Council acknowledges the past and present traditional custodians of South Australia and pay our respects to the leaders of the traditional custodians of this land. We're honoured to be on the ancestral lands of the Paramount and Kaurna people. We acknowledge the First Australians as traditional custodians of this continent whose cultures are amongst the oldest living cultures in human history. We pay respect to the elders of the community and extend our recognition to their descendants who are present. Let me see. Item 1. We have no apologies or leave of absence. Item 2. Questions from the gallery. The next 15 minutes are available for members of the gallery to ask questions relevant to council. There's not a time to make a deputation, have an intense discussion or debate. Council members and staff also appreciate opportunities to respond to questions outside of council meetings, as this can allow for a considered response to questions that require investigation. Each member of the gallery has been provided with a flyer outlining the manner in which questions may be asked. Members of the gallery, are there any questions?
Yes, there are, ma'am.
Please come to the podium, state your name and your town.
My name is Kathy Byrne of Dorsley. Good evening. Thank you for letting me ask a question. Through the chair, thank you for the opportunity to address the chamber. My question has two parts.
Sure.
Are the councillors, mayor and council CEO aware of the results of Councillor Hewitt's poll, which had over 1,200 people responded in a 24-hour period and several thousand views? 85% of residents do not approve of the Mount Barker Council funding Survival Day on the 26th of January, which we all know is this coming Sunday. Is council aware that Survival Day funding is not a priority spend for the majority of residents and ratepayers who are suffering financially from the ongoing effects of inflation, exacerbating an ongoing cost of living crisis driven by some of the highest energy costs in the world? That is my question.
Thank you very much for your question. I rule that your question is inadmissible and ask you to take your seat. Are there any other people with a question?
Thank you for the opportunity to address the chamber through you, Chair. My question has two parts.
Could you state your name and your town?
Yes, my name is Catherine Netchke from Harndall.
And it is a question, not an opportunity to address the chamber.
Yes, my question has two parts.
Thank you.
In the spirit of council transparency and accountability, ratepayers seek a detailed breakdown of how much Mount Barker Council is spending on the Family Fun Day held on the private grounds of Alcadoric House by Wallace Cinema to celebrate Australia Day on the 26th of January, including any in-kind support for the event. Part 2. How much funding has the Ruby Hunter Foundation received from council, in addition to any in-kind funding, such as advertising, promotion, and use of any council assets, such as the hire of the Larrañaga Pavilion, the venue for the Survival Day event on the 26th of January?
Thank you for your question. I do have a rough idea how much that is, and I'll talk to my colleague here next to me. It's in these sort of ballpark figures. Plus 30. Yep. So the figures that I did inquire about earlier in the week, in just a general conversation over many other matters, is the Family Fun Day at Okindorek House, which incorporates the citizenship ceremony, is in the region of $13,000, and the Survival Day that is being run by the Paramount Nation at the Larratinga Pavilion is in the order of $7,000. Welcome. Are there any other questions from the gallery? Please come forward, sir.
My name is Darren Kelly from Arnold. Thank you for the opportunity to address the is the council aware that residents and ratepayers are tired of our local government and representatives pursuing their own activist ideologies using ratepayer money? Why can the council not concentrate on core business of reducing rates, maintaining roads, footpaths, dealing with waste, rather than pursuing ideologies? When will this stop?
Your question is difficult to answer, particularly as you talk about ideologies. Council has traditionally looked after roads, rates and rubbish, but we have many other facets to council that we do. We have advocacy for people in the district. We have a social inclusion program. We have sports, recreation. We have many other things. I don't think that council actually spends any time that I'm aware of peddling ideologies. I've answered your question, I think.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Is there anybody else in the gallery who has a question? In that case, thank you for your questions. I will move to item 3, confirmation of the minutes. Do I have a councillor move that way? Councillor Orr, Councillor James, all those in favour? Carried. Item 4, conflict of interest declarations. Council members are reminded of the requirement for disclosure by members of material or general conflicts of interest in relation to items listed for consideration on the agenda. Members, are there any conflicts? Thank you. Item 5, deputations. There are no deputations. There are no questions with notice. Members, are there any questions without notice? Councillor Hewitt.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make a member's statement. I'm not sure when is the correct time to do that. Thank you.
You can wait until after item 10.
Thank you.
Motions on notice. There are no motions on notice. Motions without notice. Members, are there any motions without notice? Item 10, petitions. There are nil. Councillor Hewitt, you've indicated that is to make a personal statement. Do I have leave of the council for Councillor Hewitt to make a personal statement? And it will be by assent in the room or not? Not of the head will do. Then you may make your personal statement.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to make a personal statement regarding my Facebook post over the weekend. I acknowledge that this council resolved in August to hold the event and spend $5,000 of ratepayers' money on it. What I did not know was that it was going to be held on Australia Day, the 26th of January. I acknowledge that I voted for it, but had I known it was going to be held on Australia Day, I never would have supported it, and I would most certainly have voted against it. Upon learning the date for the event, after several residents on Friday contacted me to say that they were unhappy the event was taking place on the 26th of January, I decided to do what all elected representatives should do in a democracy, to consult my community. I asked our residents and ratepayers whether they supported their money being spent on this event. I asked the following question on a community Facebook page. Should Mount Barker Council fund a parallel Survival Day event for people who don't want to support Australia Day on January 26? After making this post, I did receive an email from Mayor Leach saying that my post was unacceptable and that I was breaching the behavioural standards. He asked me to delete the post.
Very rare that I would do this, but if you're going to say something, I've alerted in an email to you earlier that you must not make a misleading statement. I did not say those words.
Okay, I will rescind that. Sorry, Mayor.
Thank you.
I took the poll post down at the end of the day and replaced it with another post thanking the community for taking part and notifying them of the results of the poll. I also suggested residents could contact their other elected members and make their views about the event known. Again, I came under pressure from the Mayor to remove this post. Another email.
I did not do that.
Okay, Mayor.
You have been warned in an email before this meeting tonight to make sure that you do not make misleading statements or ones that will bring this council into disrepute.
Apologies, Mayor.
Your apology is accepted. However, you did say to me that the purpose of your personal statement was to make an apology.
I'm getting to it, Mayor.
And I wish you'd get to it pretty quick.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Another email, where was I? So let me make it clear, what my response was to these requests, to what felt to me as intimidation to silence me. The answer is no. I will not remove you.
You now proceed to the part where you're going to deliver your apology, please, and then resume your seat.
Yes, ma'am. I have consulted the community on its views and have ensured the community knows how to communicate these views to the other elected members. I have not once stated or implied the resolution to fund the event could be reversed or influenced. These actions do not show. I'll move on from that. In a true democracy, it is the duty of elected representatives to consult their constituents. It's the duty of constituents to make their views known to their elected representatives. And it's the duty of elected representatives to give voice to and to represent their constituents' view in the chamber. There should be nothing even remotely controversial about what I've done, and it wouldn't be controversial except for the fact that this Survival Day is not a community event. Survival Day is not an event. Are you not even speaking? Sorry.
I'm standing. The statement you just made is not correct. This is a community event. You have made an inaccurate statement. You've made several inaccurate statements before. I'll give you one more chance to deliver your apology, or I'll ask you to resume your seat.
Thank you. The results of my Facebook poll were overwhelming, with over 1,200 residents taking part, of which 1,000 responding did oppose this event. I refer to the City of Mitcham's decision to give $40,000 to a national political campaign for the Yes vote.
Councillor, I've asked you 3 times.
Yeah, it's right here. I'm on my last paragraph.
Then I'll remain standing, and if you don't proceed immediately to the apology, you will be resuming your seat.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'll just go straight to the apology. I am truly sorry if my post upsets some people, but what I've done is in the best interest of this council and the community it is supposed to represent, and I will not apologise for that. Thank you.
People in the gallery will remain silent. I now move to item 11, recommendations from committees. 11.1, Summit Sport and Recreation Park Board. Does anybody move that report title be accepted? Councillor Jones and Councillor Westwood. Councillor Jones.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Councillor Westwood.
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Any other member of council? Can I revert to Councillor Jones?
No, thank you.
All those in favour? Carried. 11.1.2, minutes of Summit Sport and Recreation Park, 4th of December 2024. Do I have somebody move that way, please? Councillor Selasi, seconded by Councillor. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand. Councillor Jones, you,
Sorry.
Councillor Jones, Councillor Selasi, Councillor Jones. Any other member? All those in favour? Oh, sorry, Councillor Selasi to revert.
Nothing done.
All those in favour? Carried. Item 11.2, Audit and Risk Committee, report title Audit and Risk Committee minutes of 12 December 24. Do I have somebody note that those minutes be accepted? Councillor Orr, seconded by Councillor Seeger. Councillor Orr.
Nothing to add, Mayor, thank you.
Councillor Seeger. Any other member? Councillor Harding.
Thank you through you, Mayor. It might be a typo, but I've noticed that on item 2, confirmation of the minutes, it appears that you moved and seconded the minutes.
I can assure you, Councillor Hardingham, that I did not do that. And
that's good.
We'll make sure at the next meeting that I attend, that that's attended to, and thank you for your keen eyes. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say about this? Councillor Orr,
Nothing further, thank you.
all those in favour? Councillor. All those in favour, raise your hand. Thank you, carried. 11.2.2, Audit and Risk Committee Chair Report of Meeting 12 December. Anybody move that way, please? Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Westwood. Councillor Jones.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Westwood.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other member? Councillor Jones.
No, thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. 11.2.3, Audit and Risk Committee recommendation for the financial policy review updates. Sorry. Go straight to 11.2.4. Thank you, Executive Manager. Audit and Risk Committee work plan meeting schedule. I'll have somebody move that way, please. Councillor Westwood, seconded by Councillor Selasi. Councillor Westwood.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Selasi. Any other member? Councillor Westwood.
Thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. 11.2.5, update on the implementation of the wastewater service delivery study. So somebody move that way, please. Councillor Grosso, and seconded by Councillor Orr. Councillor Grosso.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, just a quick read. It seems to tick off a lot of boxes that we need to progress in a planning policy sense. So obviously been a lot of work put into this set. Now do especially out progressing, but yeah, good progress in planning stage at least. Planning policy.
Councillor Orr.
Nothing further than that. Thank you.
Any other member? Councillor Brockman. All those in favour? Carried. 11.2.6, annual review of the Audit and Risk Committee terms of reference. Do I have somebody move that we endorse the terms of reference? Councillor Westwood. Councillor Orr. Councillor Westwood.
Ministry, thank you.
Councillor Orr.
Likewise, Mayor.
Any other member? Councillor Gross.
You're just wondering why financial risk from climate change mitigation has been removed from the remit. Obviously, there's a lot of financial risks there that may be incurred through mitigation. Like it might be for some councils that we need a federal government plans. So no, it might be a reason for it. So what's the reason?
There is, and through Mr. CEO, I'm going to invite your executive manager to deliver that. response.
Thank you, Mayor. An email went out this afternoon, to members, in response to a question from councillor Seeger on the same issue. They were intended to be purely administrative tidy-ups. It's unfortunately those tidy-ups captured the topic of climate change in both of them. It was in no way meant to mitigate or limit the perspective and position of council. We are still actively working towards climate change adaptation and mitigation. So the first change was because climate change is now classed as a strategic risk for the council. So it will be captured as a risk management exercise for us. There is some mandatory reporting that will be coming to the council later this year as required by the government. And then a secondary change in the terms of reference was merely, again, a matter of governance that the climate change adaptation plan is not classed or deemed to be a strategic management plan under the Local Government Act. So what I've committed to with Councillor Seeger through my email back or Andrew's email back this afternoon is that there'll be a new clause in the terms of reference that just reference the lead strategies, of which one of them is the environment and sustainability strategy, which captures a lot of the work that we're doing in that space.
Well, thanks for that explanation. It's the issue that we discussed this afternoon, just as late emails later, so
Yeah.
appreciate that information. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Manager. Anybody else wish to raise any issues on this matter? Councillor Westwood, please.
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. Reports. 12.1. Financial policy review update. Do I have somebody move that way, please? Councillor Orr, seconded by Councillor Westwood. Councillor Orr.
Nothing to add, Mayor. It looks largely administrative. Thank you.
Councillor Westwood.
Nothing to add, thank you, Mayor.
Any other member? Councillor Orr.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All those in favour? Carried. 12.2, financial sustainability policy. Will somebody move that council adopt a financial sustainability policy? Councillor Selassie, Councillor Westwood, Councillor Selassie.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a new policy and I'm always pleased to see the use of benchmarking against other councils to ensure best practice. This council is committed to being financially sustainable in the long term, and this new policy has sound considered policy positions applicable to both municipal and wastewater business from what I can see. Thank you.
Councillor Westwood.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Any other member? Councillor Selassie. All those in favour? Carried. 12.3, fees and charges policy. Do I have someone move that we adopt the fees and charges policy? Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Selassie. Councillor Jones.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Selassie. Any other member? Councillor Jones.
No, thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. 12.4, treasury management policy. Will somebody move that vote, please? Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Orr. Councillor Jones. Councillor Orr.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Any other member? Councillor Jones.
No, thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. 12.5, budget policy. Do I have somebody move that we adopt the budget policy? Councillor Selassie, seconded by Councillor Westwood. Councillor Selassie.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Westwood.
No, thank you, Mayor.
Any other member? Councillor Selassie.
No, thank you.
All those in favour? Carried. 12.6, rating policy reviews. Do I have somebody move that we adopt the motion as it appears there? Councillor Orr, Councillor Jones, Councillor Orr,
Nothing to add, Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor
No,
Jones.
thank you, Mayor.
Any other member? Councillor Orr.
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
All those in favour? Carried. 12.7, advocacy plan. To have somebody move that we adopt the advocacy plan. Councillor Hardingham and Councillor.
Through you, Mayor, I'd actually like to propose a slight modification to the wording of the motion.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I sent through some revised wording earlier.
We did.
I'm proposing that we modify the first motion to include the words at the end of the officer's recommendation, subject to the inclusion of the following additional projects as a priority in the advocacy item. 1A being a Handorf bypass, B being an upgrades to the Handorf Main Street, and C being an access path along Mount Barker Road over the Onkaparinga River. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Orr. So Hardingham.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I want to express my strong support for the advocacy plan as a strategic document. It provides a coordinated approach to securing funding, influencing policy, and advocating for the infrastructure and services needed to support our rapidly growing community. The plan offers a clear and unified vision, ensuring that we make the best use of every opportunity to meet our evolving needs of our district. However, I would like to highlight the need to include those three specific projects. As one of South Australia's most iconic destinations, Handorf is home to over 3,000 residents, and in addition to this, is the hub of tourism, returning significant economic benefit to the Mount Barker district. However, its current infrastructure struggles to support the increasing number of visitors and residents alike. A Handorf bypass is an essential project to address the traffic congestion that affects not only residents but also visitors and local businesses. The current heavy vehicle diversion via River Road, announced by the state government as a temporary solution, does fall short of addressing the broader traffic congestion issues. While it provides relief by removing unnecessary heavy vehicles from the main street, it does not resolve all the challenges faced by traffic travelling between Echunga and the Onkaparinga Valley. By implementing a permanent effective bypass, we can enhance safety, relieve the pressure of Adelaide Road and the Mount Barker Freeway interchange, and improve the visitor experiencing while preserving the charm of Carnival. I also believe the advocacy plan needs to advocate for the upgrade of the Handorf Main Street. The main street is the heartbeat of the village. It requires significant improvements. Upgrades will ensure better pedestrian safety, improved accessibility, and enhanced spaces that align with our village heritage character. These changes will not only support our local businesses, but attract more visitors, and which will then contribute to the district's economy. Finally, an access path over the Onkaparinga River is not just about connectivity, it's about creating a safer and more accessible route for pedestrians and cyclists. If we're going to advocate for park and ride at the Dun, this access path over the Onkaparinga River is critical to its success. The path would ensure a safe and convenient access for pedestrians and cyclists, making a park and ride more viable and attractive option for commuters. These projects support the principles of our advocacy plan and address key critical infrastructure gaps, enhancing our community wellbeing and supporting the sustainable development. So I ask that you join me in incorporating these projects and supporting the advocacy plan. Thank you.
Councillor Orr.
Thank you, Mayor. Predominantly to echo the sentiment shared by Councillor Hardingham, I think it's crucial that this council of all councils get our advocacy plan right and make it as clear and concise as we can in the lead up to the federal election and then the state election. We want to make it as easy as we can for these people to grab a project and run with it and get as much funding for us as we can. And I think that this plan quite clearly shows what we're about, and I like the additions by Councillor Hardingham that are endorsed projects by council to be included in this plan. So all up, I think it's a very well prepared document by staff, a couple of minor changes, and I think it's been a very good place. Thank you very much.
Any other member wish to speak to this matter? Councillor Jones.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. As a growth council, we do have many challenges that we have had to overcome and many that we're still facing. And also as a council, we're limited in what we do have responsibility for. So therefore, we do require support from both state and federal governments, together with other associations and representative organisations. This much needed advocacy plan is by no means a final document, but a living document. And this is evidenced by the open workshop we held prior to this meeting. So not only have we included the projects that were stipulated by Councillor Hardingham, but several other additions that aren't captured in that amendment. Some of those mentioned are the inclusion of further advancing the female and disability access to ensure community facilities are compliant. Further advocacy regarding transfer and connectivity between townships as well, and park and ride features in other townships as well where they might be considered appropriate. So this is highly appreciated and evidence that it is a working document, and I think we've got many things to aim for, and hopefully the state and federal government will get on board and start providing some additional support.
Councillor Gross.
Yeah, I agree fully that it's a very important document for council. I'm not sure why we've got this amendment, because council staff agreed and incorporated those changes prior to the meeting. And I've got changes included as well. And I thought, in accordance with the process that we were encouraged to do, just get an interview, gets incorporated into the recommendations in the agenda, great. But anyway, we've got the amendment, which I've got a slight concern with. I'm a bit of a concern. I agree that the projects in Handle are needed, but so are a lot of things, and I'm just not sure about election members elevating some of their issues that they think are more important to be highlighted in this report, when I think we've all got our own favourite projects that we'd like to see in there, but that'll be include too many. We're going to dilute the message and alienate politicians possibly. No reason why we shouldn't ask for lots, and we're certainly deficient in infrastructure required for the population growth that the state government has initiated in the area. We have done okay lately with it's got 300 mil for the hospital, new ambulance station, regional aquatic leisure centre, the roundabout, and we need, I think priority projects are the Hyson Boulevard and the wastewater treatment plant. And I know we've written requesting tens of millions for each of those two projects. I'd rather keep it fairly concentrated into what we think are the critical, most important projects for the district. And leave it a bit open for the government to work out some of the specifics of how they spend the money. But I do agree we need it. We need a lot, and I think it's a good document overall. So commend staff for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Bowe.
Thank you, Mayor. Risk of labouring the point, yeah, this is a really nice document, and it's nice to see genuine community sentiment reflected in a document that we're prepared to take, you personally are prepared to take to the higher ups and hopefully marry up some good plan. Yeah, I won't bang on too much. A lot of it is really good, but for me personally, and for the people of South Ward, probably the biggest issue that I hear amongst it is certainly the priority to the public transport. And so this evening's prior to this, our workshop was really quite constructive in the way that we're able to approach that. Looking at the document and as it is in the agenda, it's the lack of the directiveness about buses. It is buses that people are asking for. The care ride, a lovely service, and I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot out of it. But to me, it's a little bit sort of kicking the can down the road. There is a problem with public transport in the hills linking the townships of South Ward to Mount Barker, and it is buses that are I think, the solution, and I think that's the way this is moving. So looking forward to the changes in the document, kind of reflecting that, as was lovely said before. It is a living document, and it should be, because place changes all the time, and we need to sort of be on the front of that change. So yeah, it is a really nice document. Happy to, well, excited to see where it goes, and yeah, just about everything in there is really good work. So congrats to the staff as well for their work and putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Westwood.
Thanks, Matt. It's a great document. It's been put together over a long period of time. I remember a long time ago when the state government decided we were going to have a lot of housing. And there was a lot of people that objected against that. And that various government departments expressed their support for it and the promises of infrastructure and so forth. I think this advocacy document is really fantastic. To be able to say we're now 13, 14 years down the track, that we haven't forgotten and that we still want the things that they promised, and that the community still wants the things that they promised, and that they need to be delivered. Thank you.
Councillor Seeger.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have the comments largely of my fellow councillors. For those who aren't aware of what in this document, it has 5 priority areas, and they are starting with the biggest ask is for wastewater. As we all know, Mount Barker's growing exceptionally quickly, and our wastewater treatment works need to be upgraded. It's $100 million bill, and we're looking for half of that. That's incredibly significant. And in terms of the earlier conversation this evening about what councils do, that's one of the big ticket items. And unlike most councils in South Australia, we get to pay for it. It's not done by SA Water. Moving on to public transport, the priority there is a number of things, but especially a rapid transport to Adelaide. The road network, there's a list of items in the document: Hyson Boulevard, Harndorf, and the Dipti roads, Adelaide, Wellington and Flaxley roads. Education and health. The document talks about how there is 1 classroom of new students every 2 months in Mount Barker, and that is obviously overloading the primary schools and in due course the high school, which is already in desperate need of a new one. And the last one is policy change to support sustainable development. Along with the rapid growth, there's a lot of changes happening in our community and an environment we need to address. This document deals with those. I would recommend to anyone listening to read the document, to take the time to find out just what is involved. These are the priorities for council. There's a very long list. At the back of the document, there's a list of 19 other projects under $2 million that encompass a whole range of different smaller projects. It's 27 pages. There's a lot of other useful information about population and why we're doing what we're doing. I commend the document, and I'm happy with the changes. Thank you.
Any other member wish to speak to this matter? Councillor Grossi, you've already spoken. You have a question?
A question: could staff also include a comment in relation to public transport that the state government promote use of it, because we now have an outstanding bus service to Mount Barker, T800 Express with limited stops every 15 minutes.
Is this a question or?
Can we advocate for a better education, because a lot of people don't know how good the bus service now is due to state government changes only in August. It's now a fantastic bus service.
We'll take that as a question. Well done. Thank you. Are there any other questions or any person wish to speak to this matter? Then I'll have my tiny little bit of say, which I usually don't do. Advocacy is primarily the role of myself and the CEO and his senior staff when we make representations to other organisations, but principally the higher levels of government. The 2 things I'll say about this document: it is an extremely well put together document, as several of you people have said, but it's also the role of all of us as council to be advocates for this council. It can't be just myself and the 1 or 2 people up front sitting here. We were all elected by our fellow members, and we all have a role in advocacy. And the workshop we held prior to this meeting was exceptionally good value. And I thank you all for your willingness to contribute to the debate tonight. Councillor Hardingham, do you wish to close?
No, nothing further, thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? It's carried. 4.8. Naming of the dog park in Tenam. We'll have somebody move that way. I thought you might, councillor Westwood. I was going to refer to you as councillor Dogwood, but I thought I'd better not.
Prefer not, thanks, Mayor.
Okay, so somebody to second it. And councillor Seeger, councillor Westwood.
Thank you, Mayor. As you would not be surprised, I would like to speak on this particular matter. I'm absolutely delighted that this dog park is now ready to open very shortly. It's a fantastic facility. It's been a long time coming, various reasons, the location's being negotiated. It's going to be a fantastic asset to our community in Nan. As far as the name, I note that in the report there are some 6 variations of the Canaan Park, 8 historical references, lots and lots and lots of references to the Nan itself, but there were only 2 that tied it down to a particular location. So on my initial look, I thought, not so keen, but when you consider the location of it, I think it's a magnificent name, and I'm really looking forward to the opening on the 1st of February. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Seeger.
I'd like to echo councillor Westwood's comments, and also I'm quite happy with the name. There's very large, just 159 different entries, so bit of a choice for the people with that, but I agree wholeheartedly, it's a great name.
Any other member? Councillor Vogt.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to express, reading through the names and the reasons that people would put in there. Some of them were really lovely, some of them were incredibly funny, and some of them were quite educational. So, yeah, appreciate everyone that puts that time aside to submit these things in. And yeah, pretty happy with the thing. I'm glad I wasn't, had nothing to do with picking that, because there's a lot there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member? Councillor Westwood.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I'd say further is that I'm a little bit disappointed that the name that someone close to me had nominated didn't get up. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. That just saved you from a conflict of interest declaration, councillor Westwood. All those in favour? Carry. 4.9, ward donations. You have the ward donations as they appear up on the screen, with a late addition from councillor Seeger for Nikita Grosso, and does someone move that council approve the donations? Councillor Slasey, seconded councillor Seeger. Councillor Slasey.
No, thank you.
Councillor Seeger. Any other member? Councillor Slasey. All those in favour? Carry. The information reports, we were going to move these on block, please. 13.1, 13.2, 13.3. Do I have somebody move that way? Councillor Orr, seconded councillor Slasey. Councillor Orr.
Nothing to add, Mayor, thank you.
Councillor Slasey.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to speak to item 13.2, which is the Homes for Tomorrow marketing campaign. I think this is a promising campaign from Mount Barker and partnering councils to initiate, and I look forward to seeing it rolled out. We have a lot of growth to come, with thousands more houses to be built in our district alone. I'm very supportive of this consumer-focused Homes for Tomorrow campaign. I hope it encourages and supports developers, those looking to build a home, and existing homeowners looking to retrofit, to explore and embrace sustainability measures in their house design. I had a look at the Homes for Tomorrow website, as mentioned in the agenda, and I would encourage both prospective and existing homeowners to visit this website, as it's really worth their time to have a read on sustainability features. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member? Councillor Dawson.
Likewise, the same item. I'm really pleased that council is leading this. It's a multi-council initiative at this stage, but council is leading the process. That's to be applauded. The reports that are referenced, that it's based on 3 reports, provide no surprises in pointing out the financial environmental health benefits, wellbeing benefits from building more appropriate, user-friendly, climate-friendly housing, just good siding for start achieves a lot. It really is a no-brainer that we go in this direction, and yet the district unfortunately hasn't been today, where most of the housing was reliant on air conditioning. There's a lot of gas connections, which is a fuel with obviously high carbon emissions. Council's got very limited control in the planning process. The state government's taking that over, but we can advocate, educate, enter partnerships with builders to do things like get exemplary display village up. We've got best practice. A marketing campaign is one valid approach, which is what this report is recommending, that's the direction that we're going in. It's such a serious issue. One of the reports reference where we build, what we build, funded by the National Disaster Resilience and Insurance Company of Australia. So that's a clear demonstration of the potential cost to insurers and us all if we don't build resilient housing. It's a lot cheaper to build resilient housing than rebuild after disaster. And the houses of tomorrow have that awful stat that we've seen a couple of years ago, that statistically no houses are built in Mount Barker in the growth areas above the 6% mandatory ratings, which have been reduced in Mount Barker compared to the rest of the state. And that's a terrible development. House sizes increasing by 15%, 2017 to 2020. One of the developers told me people compromise on sustainability measures. They don't want to compromise on size. So big houses to air conditioning. There's a lot of obstacles to this, which the report references, but it's time for a mass shift in consciousness and behaviour. I like the comments that we're going where the masses are, avoiding niche marketing, because we need widespread change in the way we build our houses. We need an effective resource campaign to support this. Nothing's more important. And on that note, I have a question: how much money do we have in the kitty for the program? What are we contributing to the marketing campaign?
That's the question we'll take on notice and get back to you.
Okay. And can I ask one other question? Do we know how many developers still mandate gas connections in order to buy into their estates? That's
another question we'll take on notice, Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other person wish to speak to these information reports? Councillor Vogt.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just to acknowledge that 8.3 in the intersection in Meadows, and to appreciate staff work and your own work in trying to bring this outcome about. I'm convinced this time will come. That time, it has been long coming and probably too long coming. So yeah, I think just got to keep at it, and we should see some good movement there in the near future, I hope. Thank you.
Councillor here, you indicate.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to speak to 13.2 and 13.3.
Sure.
Thank you. 13.2 first. As a council, why exactly are we paying for this climate catastrophe re-education program? What is the point of worrying about the houses of tomorrow when people can't afford the houses of today? Housing is already overpriced. We do not have enough houses for the demand, and for council to get involved in things that are actually going to make houses more expensive is the opposite of what our community wants us to do. Why can't council help to ease the cost of living crisis rather than add to it? Don't worry about putting solar panels on your roof when people can't even afford the roof. And then to 13.3 in regards to the Meadows intersection, council has worked really, really hard at advocating for the government to do this roundabout. Clearly the advocating is not working. What more can council or the residents do to get this critical project done? I mean, maybe if we organised a rally or a petition, clearly the government aren't listening to us. What more can we do to get this critical infrastructure across the line?
I can answer one of your questions.
Yeah.
Governments are listening. Governments are listening. When I do go into those meetings, usually with at least one or two staff members, sometimes with other levels of government, and we go into those meetings, we do ask those questions. It's not as if we're not getting our message through. It's not as if they're not listening. The answer that I get every single time, I've been doing this for over 2 years, and I know some of the deputy mayors have also had some involvement in this. The government say we have a pit of money and we can help you out with this and we can help you out with that. But we can't help you out with everything that you come to us with. So it's up to this council and staff, myself as mayor, to make the best pitch that we can to those high levels of government. And we do. There was a case recently last year where myself and two staff members and Dan Cregan, MP, Minister, and Rebecca Sharkey, all three of us made it into the Minister for Infrastructure's office during a sitting week in Parliament. We were the only deputation that I'm aware of that got in there. So we are getting the message across. There is not unlimited funds. We are doing our best. Thank you for your question. Does anybody else wish to speak to this matter? I revert to Councillor. Oh, Councillor C, I didn't see your hand up.
Thank you. Your Worship, I'd just like to address, I consider a misrepresentation, the Houses of Tomorrow report clearly shows the statement that people can't afford the houses today. Fact is, they're building 15% larger house, use 14% more power. So clearly, some people have money to do it. So I'm not quite sure how you can draw that connection. Sustainable houses are clearly cheaper to run. They are far better houses. My grandparents lived in an uninsulated, asbestos-clad house, and I can assure you, in the middle of the Australian summer, it is a very unpleasant place to be. I'd much rather be living in a well-shaded, well-insulated, well-designed house, of that the design of which is clearly being promoted by activities like this. It makes much more sense. In terms of the house sizes, on census night, there were 10,000 empty bedrooms in the Mount Barker District Council. 58% of houses have more bedrooms than people. So while there is a housing crisis, I do understand the prices of houses have escalated, in my opinion, quite outrageously. However, people are still building houses far in excess of what they need, and that is a part of the problem. So I don't think having a go at efforts to address a climate crisis, which is real, is actually fair game.
Any other member wish to speak to this matter? Councillor Ord, Clyde.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to add briefly, 13.3, I'd just also like to commend staff for the work they're doing on the Meadows intersection. I think the council has done all the council can do in that area for the time being, and that I'm glad that governments are listening, in particular the state government. I just wish they'd start doing a little bit more. So let's watch this space. Thank you.
Thank you. And you'd be all aware that this today or yesterday, I wrote a letter to Senator Penny Wong, who is notional senator responsible for the Adelaide Hills and Fleurieu, once again, putting this matter before her particularly, and that senator did ask us, is there anything in particular that we wish to make her aware of? And this was one of the matters that we highlighted as a matter of safety, as well as a matter of efficiency. All those in favour? Carried. Item 14. 14.1, the Adelaide Hills Regional Waste Management Authority Quarterly Report is noted. Councillor Grosser, seconded by Councillor Vogt. Councillor Grosser.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I think it's a great thing that the council should be a part of, the continuing the age of the Hills Regional Waste Management Authority, continuing a lot of good work to find more efficient, sustainable, cheaper solutions to waste and recycling. A lot of good things going on. I'm really pleased that there's a state government's funding a new soft plastics recycling facility in Kilburn, after soft plastics have not been able to get rid of for years. I hope there's a typo in that the library recycling centre hopefully recycled more than 150 grams in the first month, which is what the report says. I'm hoping 150 kilos. 50 grams would be much to boast about. But no, good report. And I attended the November board meeting and thought that there are a lot of knowledgeable, committed people on that board, and efficient meeting, and everything's doing a lot of good things. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and I can assure you it's 150 kilograms and one mouse. Councillor Bowe.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just to reiterate, what said there, really agree with that, and particularly the soft plastic things. I think I made it one in here before that. It is a key issue for our waste, and so it's good to see us trying to deal with it ourselves. Thank you.
Any other member? Councillor Gross.
Nothing more to add. Thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. Item 15, you have various reports, one from myself, one from Deputy Mayor Jones, one from Councillor Selassie. I now move to item 17. This is addressed to the gallery. Are there any questions from the gallery that arise from this council meeting? Yes, sir, please come forward and state your name. And your name.
Thanks for Gavin Patrick from Dordley. In relation to item 12.3, the fees and charges.
Yep.
Are they on the council website? And they,
What's that?
you will, put in detail.
They are in detail.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions from the gallery? Here. We're about to go into confidence in a few moments. I'd like to thank the members of the gallery and those people who have joined us online for your attendance and interest. At this stage, we'll be going into confidence, and you people who have attended today, thank you for coming along. It is a sign of a healthy democracy indeed, and we have people as members of the gallery. You are always welcome here. Thank you.
Yes.
Item 18.1, under section 93, pursuant to section 93, I think. Someone will.
Yes.
Section 93, order pursuant to section 92, orders that all members of the public except the CEO, executive manager, acting general manager planning, regulatory services, general manager corporate, and minute secretary be excluded, please. Councillor Westwood, Councillor Jones, Councillor Westwood.
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Jones. Any other member? Hello, Councillor Westwood.
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
All those in favour? Carried. We will now wait for a disconnection to occur.